right? I'll add an infographic to it, right? We have the brackets of where we look to see our teams going in regards to the entire league. What does our picture look like? And this would be dope to have as we go forward to see who was close going into it.
Yeah.
Let's start with the AFC. We're talking about the playoff bracket for this year's playoffs and Super Bowl run. Let's start with the AFC. AFC, we have Bengals. I'm sorry. We have Jaguars versus Chargers, Bengals versus Ravens, Bills versus Dolphins. Let me see who you picked, brother.
Yeah, let's I'll dive in quickly here. This one I really went back and forth with the Jags and Chargers game. I guess we'll start that. Mm-hmm. I went back and forth, man. I've been rooting for Doug Peterson all year. That game on Saturday was fun to watch. Jacksonville, surprisingly, did you watch that? That stadium had some fucking energy. Like that was fun to watch. Like it was cool to see Jaguars in a primetime game. Mm-hmm. I really went back and forth with this, but at the end of the day, I had to take the Chargers. I think it's going to be close, but I think they're getting healthy enough to where I think they just out-talent the Jaguars right now. Again, I think it's going to be close, but I just think you look at each roster, I think the Chargers probably have the advantage. So I'm going Chargers in this one.
I picked the Jaguars to win, to edge out the Chargers in that one, simply because of for some reason the Chargers find a way to lose. And that's what I'm going with, and I'm coming off the swagger the Jaguars have off of beating the Titans, even though it's some bullshit. Off of beating them, as well as the swagger they've had for some history. They have some history of making it to this point and not getting together with the old, when Jalen Ramsey was there and stuff like that. So I'm going with the Jaguars. Next one, Bengals Ravens. Who do you got, man? Now Bengals. The thing is your boy playing?
Lamar, I don't know. If he does play, if he doesn't play, it's Bengals. I don't know how close this one will be. Let's talk about the Bengals. You want to talk about swag? With everything that was going on with the potential coin toss, for those of you who don't know, we'll touch on it real quick. If the Ravens were to beat the Bengals and everything worked out to where they were playing again as they are right now, a coin flip would have determined who was home. The Bengals went out. They throttled the Ravens. I think it was the first touchdown of the game. Joe Mixon took a coin out of his glove and flipped it. And then they all – dude, it was tough, man. That team's got swag. Joe Burrow's walking around the locker room with a stogie again. It's going to be a lot. It's going to be Bengals all over.
He's my biggest fuck-up prediction in the draft. I said he would be a bust, and he's my biggest fuck-up.
I did not think he was going to be all that great. Started at Ohio State. Man, that would have been –
He wasn't going to win that locker room. He knew where the fuck to get out of there. I got the Bengals winning, of course, in that game. Bills, Dolphins. Just say Bills. We can move on.
Not much to touch on there.
Okay, so let's go on the other side. Mm-hmm. NFC. This is where shit gets shicey. I guess let's start with San Francisco Seahawks.
Exactly. Start with another easy one. Again, we talk about divisional games are tough, and it's always, 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 for whatever reason, so fucking difficult to beat a team 3 times in 1 year. The 49ers, though, are that good.
Yeah.
The line is 10. I think the Seahawks will keep it within that 7 to 10 range. Niners are just too good. They're not going to lose.
One thing we can't not mention is the quarterback for the Seahawks and the change of a career he has made for himself. Geno Smith. To see Geno go from one of the electrifying college football players at West Virginia to getting drafted to not really having nothing pan out in the league to years later now bringing kind of some swagger back to the Seahawks. The Seahawks kind of were dead after they saw Wilson leave. And years before that, that 12th-man stadium was still rocking maybe, but it wasn't where it is now. And to see them pull off that late upset it was pretty dope to see.
Good for them. Making the playoffs in a rebuild year. And Aaron Rodgers, man, choked it up on Sunday night. So they're here.
Well, we should talk about A-Rod later. But I got the 49ers winning that one. Yep. Vikings, Giants, who do you got?
Battle of the Frauds. I guess just because.
Bro, that's hilarious. Battle of the Frauds. Yeah, hell yeah. That's awesome.
Just because. Yeah, these are the two teams, Malik, we've been saying all year. Like, they're not as good as their record says.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go with the home team. I'll take the Vikings in a close one.
I'll take the Vikings on that one. All right. Going to now.
Yeah.
Bucks versus Cowboys. Who do you got?
Never bet against the GOAT. Tom Brady and the Bucks have looked like shit. Dallas looked like shit this past week, but in all honesty, if I'm kind of just looking at this thing in a broad spectrum, the Cowboys are favorites in this game for a good reason. Never bet against the GOAT. That man Tom Brady's going to beat the Cowboys. Never has lost to the Cowboys in his entire career. That continues.
Really?
Never. I think he's 8-0.
No matter what, I'm taking the Bucs in this as well. I would be highly surprised, and I think that could end my year with like, fuck it, we beat Tom Brady. But this is we're serving Tom Brady the steak on the platter for him, right? We're like giving him the best possible outcome to go into this game. He was watching film. He's watching film like, I can't wait to tear the fucking Cowboys apart. Different defense he's going to face, but no matter what, this is an outsmarting guy, and I think he's going to outsmart our defense completely. So got the Bucs moving on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now I wonder why my thing cut weird. But so then on that side from our picks, it would be Bengals Bills back in AFC.
Yep.
Bengals Bills. You have the Chargers Chiefs.
I got Chargers Chiefs. Yeah, you got Jags Chiefs.
I have Jags Chiefs.
Let's start with the Chiefs. I'll start with you, Chiefs and Jags. I think I know which way you're going to go.
I'm going Chiefs all the way up. So just move on.
Chiefs are going to beat the Chargers as well. This is going to be a game where I feel like it'll start tough, but like you said earlier, the Chargers are going to find a way to screw it up, and the Chiefs are just that good.
Speak of the Chiefs first. This is why I think Mahomes this is the first time I think Mahomes has a big chip on his shoulder. He's back in this. Yeah. He has to go back and say, the last time we were in this picture, I lost to Tom Brady in Tampa. I don't think we see him lose 2 Super Bowls back to back of him going. I don't think you see that happening when it comes to him. I think he has a lot on his shoulders. So I'm going to take the Chiefs all the way up. And then you have the Bills versus Bengals.
Yep.
I have the same thing, yeah. Who do you have there? This is going to be a great game as well.
I can't wait for this one. The pure feel. Obviously, I'll be rooting for. I don't know who I'd be rooting for. It'd be cool to see the Bills, but for whatever reason, I see the Bengals winning this one. I got the Bengals.
Really?
Yeah.
Hey man,
Joe's feisty, man.
Last year they skid their way through, so it could happen again.
They know how to win on the road.
I got the Bills winning that one, going straight up. And this is where I think, honestly, a pre-Super Bowl will happen. Bills versus Chiefs. We might see one of the best games that we see of the year if that goes down that way.
That's what last year's was, if you remember that one, the back and forth.
Hell yeah. I put money on that game, and the Chiefs put it out for me.
Yeah.
All right, going over now on my bracket. On your bracket, who do you got? You got the Vikings versus Seahawks. Vikings versus San Fran.
Yep. This is going to be a game that gets ugly quick. I think this is a game that everyone says, "Damn, the Vikings really weren't that good." I think the Niners kill them.
Okay, I agree. I have the Niners going forward. Then on the other side, we have Bucks versus Eagles. I already know where you're leaning. You're leaning, of course, to the Eagles, the Birds to go in. Realistically, though, do you look at this game being closer, or do you see this game that we could at least get straight away by 11?
So here's going to be your narrative going into that game, right? And I'm a big Tom Brady fan. I know I'm the Eagles fan that's in the minority. Jalen Hurts' revenge game. Last year in the wild card round, it was Jalen Hurts and the Eagles going into Tampa Bay, and they got fucking smoked. That game was not close. It was almost like the national championship game last night where you knew it was over right away. Mm-hmm. Everything of Hurts' flaws were pointed out. The defense sucked. It was like 31-0 in the third quarter. Jalen Hurts' revenge game, I think he remembers that. That's the reason he's been balling out this year and how much work that he's put in. It's the reason that the Eagles made all the moves to get A.J. Brown, to get C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Jalen Hurts' revenge game, I think I can never be too comfortable with Brady, but this won't be a nail-biting win by a last-second field goal game. I can see the Eagles coming in fresh at the link. It'll be rocking. It'll probably be the Sunday night game because Dallas and Tampa play on Monday night, so they're going to want to give them an extra day to rest. I think it'll be a fun one.
Yeah, I have the Eagles pulling that one out. I think that your defense can hold up Brady. I think your offense can be so much more electric against their defense. So now we have in the conference championships, we have in the AFC, Bills, Chiefs, and then we have on the NFC, 49ers, Eagles. Let's start off with the AFC. That's what I have. I'm sorry. Do you have that as well?
No, I got Bengals, Chiefs.
Oh, you have Bengals, Chiefs. Okay. No matter what, I think I have the Chiefs pulling that out again. versus the Bills. I don't think Josh Allen, I don't think those guys can have it in them. They have had to, again, I'm going to stick by it. Those last second wins during the regular season will come back to bite you in the ass when it comes to big time play. And I think the Kansas City Chiefs are not going to let them hang around as much as they did last time. They know they have to go in with fierce. I'm sure the Chiefs will be home, of course. And I think it's a different game, no matter what, same weather conditions. But I see the Chiefs pulling that one out.
Yeah, this for me, I had Bengals Chiefs rematch of last year's fun playoff game. I think
it'll be even dirtier. If you see that one, I give the Chiefs way more confidence in that game.
Yep. No, I think Chiefs, again, like you said, Mahomes with that chip on his shoulder, he remembers what last year was. Bengals have a good ride, but they can't do what they did last year, and the Chiefs go to the Super Bowl. That
was a fucking once-in-a-lifetime ride for Cincy fans.
Yeah,
to
crazy.
Go.
Crazy.
So then, on my end, on both ends, we have Chiefs versus Eagles.
Yep.
Now, this is a Super Bowl game. I want you to have.
So you have the Eagles beating the Niners?
Oh yeah, I have you guys beating the Niners.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I skipped that. Yeah, I have the Eagles beating the Niners. Simply fact, it would be two young teams, but the Niners are too young. And I think no matter how much you try to coach them up, the Eagles have been playing this way all year long. And that San Fran is just getting to that point. It's great. You will always want to go into the playoffs on a streak, and at some point that streak's going to run out. And I think that's when it hits them.
Yeah, I mean, I've been saying for weeks that the Niners are the team that scares me, just because of how quick and how good that defense is. I think they can really pose a huge threat for Jalen. But this Brock Purdy show is going to end hard in Philly. I mean, it's a great story and it's fun, and it's the second best team in the NFC. But Brock Purdy's going to come in and shit himself when he comes into Philly. He's not going to know what the hell hit him. I think I was letting you know early. My girl's a huge Niners fan, so if anyone wants to let me crouch on their couch after the Eagles win, I'm going to need it for about a couple weeks. But it's going to be birds. Yeah.
So then that brings you a Super Bowl 1 versus 1.
Yeah.
That rarely ever happens.
I know.
1 seed versus 1 seed going in.
And as I'm filling out this bracket, I'm like, fuck, man, we something's got to be mixed up, right?
Something's gonna fuck up here. But I had the Chiefs versus Eagles in the Super Bowl. I'm sure you had the same thing. Yeah, you had the same thing. Chiefs versus Eagles. Take your bias out the way. Let's see you're a fan. I don't think you can. I don't know if I were you, I wouldn't say what a score could be. I would say I just pray to the gods that we pull it off and we win the same way we beat Brady.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be fun. That would be Andy Reid, obviously, long time, probably the best
I forgot about that.
Ever had. Going up against Jalen Hurts, you'll have Hurts and Mahomes, two African American quarterbacks playing the Super Bowl when the last time that happened.
Yeah.
Probably two of the most electric quarterbacks. Take the over in that game, whatever it is, because I think it's going to be points. What would I pick? Fuck, man. Again, I'm going to go with the Eagles because as fun as this game I think would be, as big as the fireworks, the touchdowns back and forth, it's always going to come down to what defense can get a stop. And I trust the Eagles defense more than I trust that Chiefs defense. And again, the one thing that everyone talks about is how good this Chiefs D-line is. They have some game wreckers on that side, and so do the Eagles. Like, they're going to be, man, huffing for air, chasing Mahomes, chasing Hurts. I really think that Jalen Hurts is just a different breed right now. And you talk about chip on your shoulder. I think I even sent you Eagles win the division. They clinched the 1 seed. Jalen Hurts' speech, again, you could convince me that they lost. It was, we got to clean this shit up. We are not close to playing our best football. Like, this dude's playing with a chip on his shoulder, and I think it's just going to be another one of those magical games. It'll be fun and exciting. I'm not going to be able to breathe during all of it, but the Eagles D is going to come up with a needed stop in the end where I don't think the Chiefs can.
No shot. I'll stand by it. I have the Chiefs fucking you guys up.
You better hope.
And I'm being biased. I don't give a fuck. I don't want to. My biggest regret in my entire life was rooting for you and my uncle Mark to see the Eagles win the Super Bowl. And I rooted for you guys versus Brady because I hated Brady at that time. My biggest regret is doing that because the Eagles fans would not do the same thing for me. So you would never see me ever again root for the Eagles to win a Super Bowl.
You better hope. You better hope that don't happen because this show's going to be taken down if that happens.
if that happens, here's two things. We're definitely shooting it in person. Second thing, if you guys lose, this would be in 1 year. You see two of your teams lose a national championship game. I would love that as a fan. I would fucking love that to see Philly lose too. Now, here's something crazy that I didn't know going into this game. My boy just told me. Do you know that there's a bar in South Philly? It's called Big Charlie's in South Philly. It's a Kansas City bar that has years and years and years. Look it up. Look it up right now. I promise you'll be so amazed that this bar, it's in South Philly, that this bar has existed for so long that it legit looks like a shitty bar, but it has just Kansas City all out in there. If that ends up to be a Phillies versus, Eagles versus Chiefs game in the Super Bowl, holy fuck. Cops better be surrounding that place. It's nuts. Look, I'll put a picture here. It's fucking wild. Never knew that existed.
Yeah, it's a weird thing to have.
In South Philly.
Have security. Either way. Whether it's Eagles, if it's a win or a loss for the Birds, have it surrounded.
Yes. No matter what, because either Eagles fans lose, it might be crazier if Eagles fans lose, because they're going to fucking tear that shit down. Even if they win. If you win, you might just get some shit talking, throwing trash at them. But if they lose, you might see some destruction. That's hilarious. Now, this is where I have some disagreements with this. I hate that it comes in your conference. I hate that it deals with conference play and what deals with your ranking. I don't agree with that. I think when it comes down to the playoff scenario, you've made the playoffs, right? Then it should go by your record. How good were you that year? That then tells how you get home field advantage. To me, I don't understand how we're playing away at Tampa Bay with the year.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
That doesn't make sense to me.
Well, that's been the age-long argument, because you almost see this every year. Is you see one division, maybe even two, really struggle like the Bucs did. NFC East was one of those divisions. So that's the question, because if you want that, then you're going to have to make divisions obsolete. Like you look at the NBA, there's divisions in the NBA, but the playoffs go by strict conference record. It's best to worst, and the divisions really don't fucking matter. So you would have to knock out all the divisions. I don't think they're going to do that.
No.
Because, again, it's just, in my opinion, I agree with you. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I guess I shouldn't say agree, but I like that's part of sports. Like sometimes you get the short end of the stick.
Yeah.
And you know what? If you are the better team, I know there is a home field advantage, but if you're that much better, it shouldn't matter in the end. You should win either way.
Yeah, either way, last year we had home field advantage and 49ers came and kicked our ass at home.
Exactly. So, and we see all the time, the Bengals last year had to go on the road every single game and still made it to the Super Bowl and almost won. So, again, that's kind of the other argument that, home field is a big thing, but at the end of the day, the better team is going to win.
Yeah, I agree. That's a good stamp to leave it for the NFL. Anything else you think we should add?
No. With that, looking forward to a fun weekend sitting on the couch with stress-free football. I
was actually thinking, I think last week, if I ever see the Cowboys go to Super Bowl in my lifetime, how am I going to handle that stress of that game? I don't know how. I'm not having a Super Bowl party. I think I'm staying home by myself and just watching the game.
Well, the good thing is you won't have to worry about it. So.
You fucking hater. Hey, your time will come, big dog. Don't worry. Your time will come, Playboy.